Hi, Seth.
Okay. Just FYI, in terms of business about the ship, 4:30 we have piano bar. Don't forget that. Come to that. At 11 o'clock tonight we have the hair concert. It's like hair night. You have to get dressed up sassily, hairstyle, and we're going to be performing as well. And during the show, just please don't take any flash photography because Audra's notorious for falling, which we will be discussing during the actual show. All right, Audra. Please welcome to the stage, not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, but 5-time Tony Award winner, Audra McDonald! What's my introduction to you? Audra, why don't you tell everybody why my water bottle looks like this?
Seth and I were backstage just now, getting ready to go on stage, and they told us, okay, it's places or whatever, get ready to go. And Seth said, oh, I just need to get a tissue out of the bathroom. And he had his water in his hand. And then the next thing I hear is boom, 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 boom. And I turn around and all I see are Seth's feet just on the ground. And the rest of them completely face forward. And
oh, you hear the sympathy. Just keep going.
He landed with his hand in the toilet.
There's an 8-inch step up into the bathroom, not normal.
And I had the most infantile, terrible reaction. Just all I could do was laugh at him. I
so speaking of falling, let's just talk for a second about my reaction when you fall. So, Audra McDonald is notorious for her signature passing out, which sounds like, oh, sure, she gets nervous, though, flat out passing out, and I've witnessed it, how many times have I been there?
1, 2, 3, 4. I think
4. A solid 4.
4 times.
So, first was at an audition, I think, for
no, for a callback for Showboat, when I put on a little white pancake makeup to try and look like I was white.
No way.
I mean, that would make me pass out. The second one was in Fresno, where she flew me out. She's supposed to do this we've known each other for a long time. She mentioned it in the show, and she was doing a concert in Fresno, and she wanted a more sassy pianist. So she flew me out, and it was in the middle of the concert, right? And we were like,
Yeah.
And it wasn't a football, it was more like, And then the last one was at Carnegie Hall rehearsal.
No, not Carnegie Hall.
Not Carnegie Hall, where was it?
The Pierre Hotel.
Pierre Hotel. Rehearsal. And so I already knew reputation that when she gets anxiety and nervous, she passes out. So during rehearsal, I was like, don't pass out. So we were doing Down the Glove, finished the number, and I heard the same sound that Audra heard without the sound of the toilet. But I heard, like, bum, jankety gum. And there was a full fall, like, bagong, gang. So Audra, what happened?
I had passed out. I don't remember. You didn't, I don't know.
Well, essentially what happens is she gets so nervous that, like, the blood stops flowing towards your head.
The blood stops going to my head, and my body just shuts down and says, oh, we'll deal with this later. Let's take it out. So
she felt like face, that was face first, right? That first one?
No, I landed on my chin because I had to go get stitches. Remember that? This is rehearsal, we got stitches. And then we just were like, I'll be fine. So,
and it was like a big salute, like, Rosie O'Donnell, lady at the stage. And it was like all these Broadway people and Audra. And I was like, if you start feeling, I'm so angry, I was like, there's probably no sympathy. I'm like, if you feel like you're going to faint, I'm like, just grab onto a chair and say, I sure will. So we do the show that night, finished Down with Love. This time she fainted again, but she didn't have the courtesy to faint on stage. Tell me where you fainted.
I fainted off, my feet were still on the stage, fainted off the stage onto the floor, I guess onto Rosie's table. I broke the fall with my face.
Onto Rosie's table. No, but think about Rosie's like, what a wonderful, person coming towards her. Ka-clanka! Now, Audra's always mad at me because because I quote didn't help her. But essentially what happened was, I had the horrible image of watching Audra fall in my head, and it was such a horrifying image that when I saw her start falling again, I knew that the length between the piano and her wasn't far enough for me to help her. So I was like, I can't help her, I don't want to see the image. So I turned away. But it wasn't an angry turn away, it was like, I cannot view this. So that's what she's mad about. So what happened? So after she fell on Rosie's table, what happened next?
I heard the words, Audra, can you hear me? And I remember thinking, I was back in my room or something, back at home, and then I heard, Audra, can you hear me? I am Mary Tyler Moore's husband, and I'm a doctor. And I remember I had to open my eyes, and I'm like, why? And now you give me your credentials, I know who you are, and I don't really care, and what's the point? And then I opened my eyes, and you said, how many fingers am I holding up? And I'm like, oh, okay. And then I look up, and I see Rosie kind of looking at me crying, and then they took me to the hospital for a week.
Okay, so by the way, that was the beginning of the show. So they take Audra to the hospital, the whole audience is devastated, and then they're like, ladies and gentlemen, the comedy of Andrea Martin. So she was like, I cannot believe everyone in the audience is like, devastated. So poor Andrea would be like, people ask me why I'm not dating. It was a nightmare. But after that, then I feel like it hasn't happened to me since. Like, how did you fix it? Like, you learn how to
When I was in the hospital, we figured out what was going on with me, and they put me on medication. They did all these crazy tests in this dungeon of New York Presbyterian Hospital. These weird tests where they strapped me to a table and put the electrodes into my heart and stimulated my heart and made me pass out. But while strapped to a table, and they kept tilting the table in different directions. And the whole idea was to try and get me to pass out and then study what happens to my body when it does.
Wow.
And they figured that's how they were diagnosed it and giving medications.
Well, it worked. Okay, so our next song. I don't even know what it is actually. I don't think it works.
I do.
You know what it is? Okay.
Yes. Can I stay here and sing it?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. This is a song that I sing a lot. Written by a very talented composer, Tony Award-winning composer named Mr. Jason Robert Brown. It's a song I love and I always sing it, so I'm going to sing it again. Yay. on a whim. I met a man whose fire and passion always showed, who asked if I could spare a week to ride with him. But I was sure that all I ever wanted was a life that was scripted and planned. And he said, but you don't understand. I'll give you stars and the moon and the open highway and a river beneath your feet. I'll give you days full of dreams if you travel my way and a summer you can't repeat. I'll give you nights full of passion and days of adventure, no strings, just a warm summer rain. And I thought, no, rather have champagne. I met a man who had a fortune in the bank, who had retired at age 30, set for life. I met a man and didn't know which stars to thank. And then he asked one day if I would be his wife. And I looked up, and all I could think of was the life I had dreamt I would live. And I said to him, what will you give? I'll give you cars and a townhouse in Turtle Bay and a fire and a diamond ring. And we'll get married in Spain on my yacht today and we'll honeymoon in Beijing. And you'll make stars at the parties I throw at my villas in Nice and Paris in June. And I thought, okay. And I took a breath. And I got my yacht. And the years went by. And it never changed. And it never grew. And I never dreamed. And I woke one day. And I looked around. And I thought, my God, I'll never have the moon. So this next song is a song that I first learned when I was about 9 years old, and I then fast forward 500 years to when I'm 41, and I was in Cambridge, Massachusetts, working on the out-of-town triad of Porgy and Bess, and I was also looking for material for my new tour, and I was trying to think of songs that would be good to sing, and this song popped into my head as a possibility, and I thought, I should put that in the back of my head. That might be a good song to add to my new tour. And then one day I was walking to rehearsal. I was going to stop at the place that I spent almost as much time as I spent at the theater while I was in Cambridge, and that's Chipotle, and I was on my way there first. And I got to the door, and standing in front of the door was this elderly man who must have been, he was like late 80s, maybe pushing 90. And he had on a tie-dye shirt, a tie-dye bandana. He had on tennis shoes and long white socks. He had a bunch of posters behind him of movie stars from the 30s and 40s. And he had a sign that said, "Be kind to street people." And he had a karaoke machine. And he was singing the song that I've been thinking about. I was stunned. So I stood there and I listened to him. And when he was done, I said, "Dude, that was great. It was amazing. It was great." And that's fantastic. And he said, "Well, why do you know that song?" And I said, "Well, it's a great song. That's why I know that song." He goes, "Well, I know that song because it was very popular during World War II. I know. I served in World War II." And I said, "Well, dude, it's a great song, and you're amazing." And I knew at that moment I had to add it to my repertoire. So I'm going to sing it now, and I'm going to sing it to honor him in the same key that he sang it in. And that is incredibly impressive for one of us. my body, my body. Your body misses you. Your body misses you. Huh?
Isn't there more to the story?
Is there, oh yes, at the end of the story, at the end of the song, the man, my great friend, he sang it in that key, first of all. He sang it in that octave. And at the end, he sang, your body misses you. He was amazing. So if you're ever in Cambridge, Harvard Square, Chipotle, please look for my buddy. He's still there. It was amazing. And he sang it like 17 times slower than what we just did. I'm sure I was late to rehearsal.
Okay, so there's so many theater wannabes in the house, and everyone knows you're a big Broadway star, but tell them what the craziness is that before you're a Broadway star, you had the nerve to be studying classical music. What were you thinking and why?
I was studying classical music because I wanted to move to New York, and I auditioned for Juilliard, thinking, well, I know in the movie Fame, they're all dancing in front of the fountain, and they're auditioning for Broadway shows, and I'm sure that's right where Juilliard is. I'm sure that's what it'll be like. And so I auditioned, and I got in, and I got there, and that's not what it was.
Because I went to Oberlin, and there was like no respect for Broadway or classical music. So it was the same thing at Juilliard?
Yeah, it was the same thing at Juilliard. No, not. It was just Broadway music was huge, but it's not what you do, and it's not what you're supposed to sing, and it's dangerous, and
dangerous why?
Just vocally, you shouldn't do that. You shouldn't do that, and it just was wrong. It was, I don't know, it was just like being ghetto, and I don't know. It was just completely wrong for them.
But how did you do Broadway on the side? Because over the summer you did Broadway.
I snuck out. I would sneak. My teacher said you have to go to a classical program during the summer, and I said okay. And then I went and I auditioned for Summer Stock, and I got cast in Evita and Man of La Mancha, and I went and did that instead. And then came back the next.
What did you tell her?
I went and auditioned for Summer Stock, and I did that. And she was like, "That's not what you're supposed to be doing." And I said, "Oh, I just."
I didn't hear you the
yeah,
first time.
I don't know what. I came back, just busted too, vocally busted, because I was singing Aldonza and screaming, I was born in a ditch by a mother. But I was having the time of my life and feeling talented for once, because at Juilliard you don't feel talented, you feel terrible the whole time you're there. You do. They kind of rip you to shreds, what they're supposed to, and then they build you back up in a different way. But
did they ever build you back up?
no, I just left.
So you had the tearing down part.
Yeah, they were happy in the part, so.
Did it help you though in the long run having that kind of training?
Yes. I never thought that classical music would come to anything for me, but as it turns out, it ended up sort of saving me. I have a technique that I can sort of rely on, and it helped me to find sort of my whole voice. And I think up until that point, I was only using part of my voice, and I didn't realize that I had a classical voice, and they helped me find that. And so now, I've learned how to sort of incorporate it all to just what's my sound. And one of the things I say to young singers is just go out there and sing like you. Don't sing like anybody else. Don't try and imitate anybody else. Sing like you. That's the one unique thing that is missing in the world, is your voice. And so what I've learned is to accept my voice and embrace my voice and sing with my voice and not try and sound like anybody else. Whereas before I was trying to sound like other people.
Did it help you with Porgy and Bess? What's your most operatic role?
Absolutely, and I learned all about Porgy and Bess. I told you guys this yesterday. I was at Juilliard, I studied. I knew about it before, but I studied it like a mad woman just on my own, thinking this is a classical piece that I could possibly do.
But Porgy and Bess is considered an opera, and if you don't know, opera people do 2 performances a week, and then it's 3 weeks off. So how did you do 8 shows a week when it was really an operatic piece?
It almost killed me. It's not supposed to be sung 8 times a week. And when Porgy and Bess first opened on Broadway, they didn't do an 8 show week schedule. That it opened.
You mean back in the 30s?
Back in the 30s when it opened, there was not an 8 show week schedule. So there's been no best that's actually done 8 shows a week.
Except for Audra McDonald.
Except for Audra McDonald. It's not a good thing, it almost killed me. So.
Yeah, but you won the Tony, so it all worked out. What was that like?
Put the Tony on my pain.
He's like, soothe it. What's the word? Schedule when you're doing a Broadway show. Like, are you like, I always go to bed at this time, or I know this, or I know that?
It's Broadway schedule is very difficult. You do 8 shows a week, right? So you're basically spending your day getting ready for your show at night. You have to be very quiet. You can't sing a lot. You can't talk a lot. You just have to protect your voice. You have to make sure that you're warmed up and that physically you're okay. And then if you couple that with being a parent, like me and my husband, Will, are parents of 3 children out there, 2 of whom are maybe slightly asleep right now, but that's okay. But it's difficult. So Will and I will do shows that are over at like 11 o'clock at night. We get home by 11:30 or so, or even later, sometimes midnight, and then we get up at 6 to get them to school. And so you only have like 5 hours of sleep or so, and then like on Wednesdays, that was the killer for us because we have to go off and do our shows after getting up at 6 to get our kids to school. So it's a vicious cycle of no sleep, basically. So
Cut to yesterday, took a nap in the middle of the day. What was that about, Audra?
I took a disco nap. I sure did, and then we got up at 10 o'clock and had dinner. Is that terrible? I'm supposed to do on screen.
I guess a plus. Okay, so speaking of Will, here's a song about your ex-boyfriend.
What? Prior to Will. Okay. This is a song that has a really kind of fun story at the end that I'll tell you about. But this is a song that was written by Marcy Heisler and Zena Goldridge. It's a good cautionary tale, which is why I like to sing it. So this is for all you young people out there looking for love. When my mother told me, don't forget your rain boots when it's wet, I listened up just like a good little girl. And when she prudently suggested I should lose the cigarette, I knew that bit of wisdom was a pearl. But in all of the advice that I collected through the years, I admit to you with trepidatious dread, unfortunately there was some that whizzed right through my ears. Oh, where was my mind when Mother said, avoid navel contemplating floppy-haired actors originally from Baltimore, who excel at mime, still play Stratego, and have issues with their mom. Sure, at first they're very charming, their attention is disarming, but give attention in return, and dear, they'll drop you like a bomb. Yes, do avoid REO Speedwagon loving Christopher Walken imitating thespians originally from Baltimore, who can't piss unless the shrink says it's okay. Why let them break your heart, dear? Put your head on and be smart, dear. Put some bug spray on and make them go away. When my daddy told me, look both ways before you cross the street, I took those words to heart and I complied. And when he told me, be yourself, and I should march to my own beat, I did, and found the truth was bona fide. But in all of the advice that I collected through the years, I have to say I am a bit surprised. I missed the best advice that Daddy trumpeted my way. Oh, well, where was my mind when he advised? Avoid narcissistic, alcoholic, think they're French, but they're not. Waiters originally from Baltimore, who deflower you, carry a copy of Fountainhead in their pocket, and lie about their age. Sure, at first their eyes are steely, and their words are touchy-feely. Have them cheat upon you twice, and my advice is more than sage. Yes, do avoid Renaissance festival-loving food service consultants originally from Baltimore, who say they dance with NYC Ballet, but are really an administrative intern. For it's clear upon reflection, if you give them your affection, you will understand the concept casual, but he's married and it's factual. Pimlico is not the only place you'll find a horse's ass. Yes, at all costs, avoid ridiculous. The amusing experience is cultivated in Baltimore. Mary Levinson, I mean no disrespect. If you have to go to Baltimore and meet boys, do not marry him. Although it's true, I hear that they've got quite a nice aquarium. Ladies, take your hearts and run as fast as little legs can carry him from Baltimore. There are better boys in Boise. Boys in Boise always call. You'll have better luck in Jersey or St. Paul. No, not St. Paul. But no matter where life takes you, it just makes no sense to fall in Baltimore. So where are you from? Silver Spring? Oh, so the story about Baltimore is, Taji, can I tell the story? Is she gonna let me? Is she gonna let me?
Yes.
Okay. So my little niece is here today too, Taj. And Taj, how many of you know the name of the villain in Harry Potter? Voldemort. Right? Taji has rewritten the words to Baltimore, saying, don't fall for boys named Voldemort. Hold on. Where are you from? Slytherin? Okay. Well, do you want to just sing it? No.
Okay. This is the perfect part for Audra McDonald. So if anyone's doing a controversy on the show, please listen. How's that?
Oh, that's terrible introduction.
It is.
All right, let's do it.
It's a great part.
It's a Stephen Sondheim song. I don't do concerts without doing a Stephen Sondheim song, regardless of what he has written about me and certain papers. We're fine. Stephen and I are fine. And I asked him, after he wrote the letter, I've sung some of your songs, what do you suggest I sing next? And he said, sing this one. So I'm going to sing this one. Wait. Do it again.
I'm getting a note from Audra on stage, so I hope this is being videoed.
What was that? Was that me? Was that him? Did a prince really kiss me? And kiss me? And kiss me? And did I kiss him back? Was it wrong? Am I mad? Is that all? Does he miss me? Was he suddenly getting bored with me? Wake up, stop dreaming, stop prancing about the woods. It's not beseeming. What is it about the woods? Back to life, back to sense, back to child, back to husband. You can't live in the woods. There are vows, there are needs, there are ties, there are standards, there are shoulds and shoulds. Why not both instead? There's the answer if you're clever. Have a child for warmth and a baker for bread and a prince for whatever. Never, it's these woods. Face the facts, find the boy, stop the group, stop the giant, just get out of these woods. Was that him? Yes, it was. Was that me? No, it wasn't. Just a trick of the woods. Just a moment. One peculiar passing moment. Must it all be either less or more, either plain or grand? Is it always or? Is it never and? Well, that's what woods are for those moments in the woods. Oh, if life were made of moments, even now and then a bad one. But if life were only moments, then you'd never know you had one. First a witch, then a child, then a prince, then a moment. Who can live in the woods? whistle went one, trap door open, and I slipped right through. And now I can't stop talking about him and talking about him and talking about him. And if he was yours, well, neither would you.
Will you please stop talking about him, talking about him, talking about him?
I can't stop talking about him and talking about him and talking about him.
Just keep talking about him, talking about him, talking
Well,
about him.
I won't stop talking about him and talking about him and talking about him. I can't stop talking about him and talking about him and talking about him. I can't stop talking about him, man, that I adore him. I can't stop talking about him, I should know I should. You can't stop telling about him, yell about him, tell about him. I can't stop crying over the moment that we met. You had a pinstripe, what do you call a beautiful smile, a Broadway. I can't stop talking about him yet. You kiss me out, I went on. A whistle went boom, trap door open, and I slipped right through. Now I can't stop talking about him and talking about him and talking about him. If he was yours, well, neither would you. Stop talking about him and talking about him and talking about him and talking about him until your face turned blue. Stop talking about him and talking about him and talking about him and talking about him. I love picking songs that Seth can yell at me.
Well, this is annoying. Okay, let's just, speaking of yelling, so let's just talk for 2 seconds about the inappropriate relationship we have. So, if you don't know, I would just love to hear Audra's side of the story. So, Audra had a Juilliard recital, the whole first half of it was classical music, and yet again, she always calls me in to play the sassy stuff. So she called me in to play the second half, which was sassafras. So, you know, it was a Broadway section. Now, by the way, did you tell your teachers you're going to do a Goin concert?
Well, no, I had to do all the classical stuff for the first half. So I did my French music, and I did some German lieder, and I did some English. No, did I do English? I did German, Spanish, and French. And in the first half. And then in the second half, they say you can choose something to do. It can be in English, is what they say.
Maybe like a Samuel Barber.
Yeah.
I don't know what, Benjamin Britten.
Benjamin Britten, something like that.
Instead, she was like, Julie Stein.
I was like, what are they going to do? It's been 5 long years, and they're so tired of me. They just want me out of their school. They're just so done with me. So I was like, I'm going to sing some Broadway.
So we did Funny Girl. We did cornet band.
We did cornet band, music that makes me dance. I had some jazz musicians come in, and I did baby, 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 that's all. And at the end of that song, I went, I want my degree, and get out of here, you'll see, that's all. And I was so angry. And then, anyway, so we finished the concert with the Broadway stuff and realized that I didn't have an encore.
Right, so since I'm an amazing pianist, I was like, oh, I know a song by heart that you can do. Because Audra and I have done a lot of these hospital shows together where we perform for AIDS patients. So we had a lot of stuff in our repertoire. So I started with Can't Love in That Band. So we went through it once, and I was like, that is just too boring for this audience. So we went back to the bridge. And then right for the ending, I'm like, it's still too boring, so I took it up a step to add some extra sass. Well, at that point, the anger that she had towards Juilliard turned towards me. And honestly, to Juilliard, Audra McDonald gave me a finger. She doesn't remember that.
To this day,
she blacked out.
I didn't black out for that particular performance, and to this day, I don't think I gave you the finger.
How do I remember a finger staring at me? Whose finger was it?
It was not mine. I gave you a dirty look.
Yeah, that involved a finger in front of your face. See, this is... Let's drop it.
I was ready to be done, and I wasn't ready to go into another key. I just wasn't ready for it. And here's the thing, Seth continues to do that 20 years later. He just decides what key he wants to finish a song in, and you have to be there or not, or he'll just, reach at the end.
I could have danced all night that first day. I took it out to half step. Wasn't that good? Thank you, that applause. It's true. Okay, so just talk about one of my favorite shows that you did. You know, Audra McDonald starred on Broadway in Raisin. Not the musical, Raisin in the Sun. And she did the show with Sean, P. Daddy, Puff Daddy, all the above.
Cheese Doodle is what Pat the phone called. She's like, how's Cheese Doodle?
Such respect. Okay, so just first of all, the audience, had they ever been to Broadway shows before us? What was the audience?
It was a very interesting audience because a lot of them were there just to see P. Diddy live, and really up close. And so a lot of them had not necessarily ever been to a Broadway show before. And they were a tad bit new to the experience is one way of putting it. And so they were just very interesting. They would talk back during the show and put in their 2 cents. And always in the front row, there was the people who got the front row seats. We called it, this is awful. My kids close here. We called it the Hoochie Mama row because there was always at least 3 or 4 girls in the front row every night, just watching Diddy the whole time, like, I'm going home with that tonight. So we would just laugh and come out on stage, we started the show, and then like by the second act, I'd be like, did you see Hoochie Mama and 1 and 4, 1 and 3, just all this. It just cracked me up. But they also would talk back. They would talk back. And I didn't mind that. It was frustrating from time to time, but I didn't mind it because it meant that they were getting into the show. They were getting moved by the experience and the story, and they were getting caught up, and I liked that. And at the very end of the show, I mean, for those of you who don't know it, it's about a family in the south side of Chicago in the 50s trying to deal with their poverty, and they just lost their father, and they have an insurance check, a life insurance check, and it's a big debate about how they're going to spend it. Through a series of unfortunate events, they end up losing the money. Sean Combs' character ends up losing the money to a swindler. However, what money they did lose, their mother had bought a house in a white neighborhood, but said we're moving to that house. So at the very end, they finally move out this cramped 1-bedroom apartment that 6 of them have been living in, and they're off to their new life in this house. And there's this little plant that Felicia Rashad's character, Mama, has been watering and trying to take care of. A tiny little plant that hardly gets any sun. It's practically dead, but she throughout the entire show, she's always trying to take care of it. So the very last moment of the show, Mama looks around the house, the apartment that she is finally leaving, and is supposed to walk off, has a moment, has the picture of her husband who's passed away, walks off stage, and then remembers that she's forgotten her plant, runs back on stage, grabs the plant, walks off stage, and that's the curtain, that's the show. It's a very moving moment. So, Felicia's looking around the restaurant, holding on to a picture of her husband, starts to walk off stage, and then from somewhere in the audience you hear, "Don't forget your plan!" So these songs I've been singing because a couple of reasons. One, they are beautiful songs. 2, they are lullabies. And I have 1 child that I gave birth to. I have 2 children I did not give birth to, but I like to claim as my own as well. I have 3 kids now. And they are the light of my life. They make me laugh. They make me tired. But most of the time they make me laugh, and I love them all very much. And Zozo didn't like me singing to her when she was really, really, really little. She likes it now, but she didn't when she was really, really little. So I didn't get a chance to sing a lot of lullabies to her then. But I sing a lot now around the house, and I don't know if it drives them crazy. Hey, Bridget, can I tell the way I took you guys in? Can I tell them what I say? What I tuck them in. So I say different things to the kids when I tuck them in. And Zozo, I usually say, love you, and then we say butt crack, which is how far open she wants the door so that she can get some of the light from the house. That's the thing. So, and I think with the boys, as I go into the boys' bedroom, and I don't know why we started doing this, but I started saying, good night, sleep tight, don't let the bed bugs suck all your blood. And then, so then we turned to that, and now we've added, their line after that is they have to go, worst stepmother ever. So that's my lovely good night to the boys. I think I am the worst player. Anyway, so this is for Riley Cosby. Whose little angry man are you? Now let me see. Can I be sure that you belong to me? Whose little puff of smoke and flame? Whose little roar of manly thunder? I wonder, what's your name? My little boy would never be as mean as you. He'd never say goodbye without a kiss or two. I see you making eyes at me, and that's an old familiar song. I guess you're mine. My little boy would never be as mean as you. He'd never say goodbye without a kiss or two. I see you making eyes at me, and that's an old familiar song. I guess you're mine. I guess you're mine. Baby mine, don't you cry. Baby mine, dry your eyes. Rest your head close to my heart, never to part, baby of mine. Little one, when you play, don't you mind what they say. Let those eyes twinkle and shine, never a tear, baby of mine. If they knew, sweet little you, they'd end up loving you too. All the same people who scold you, what they give just for the right to hold you. From your head to your toes, you're not much, goodness knows, but you're so precious to me, cute as can be, baby of mine, baby of mine. I guess you're mine. So I thought I'd do some Leader for you, since we talked about Juilliard. I'm going to sing some Leader. But this is Leader that was written recently by a very talented young man named Gabriel Kahane. And when looking for inspiration for the poetry for his Leader, he went quite naturally to Craigslist. So 2 songs from Craigslist Leader. You look sexy, even though you were having a seizure. It was in the hair care section of the Vancouver Walgreens. I was the guy in the blue shirt some stuff, bought some stuff, bought some stuff, bought some stuff. One of the things we bought was a kind of sandwich relish. Sandwich relish. One of the things we bought was a kind of sandwich relish. Sandwich relish. It was super spicy.
It was super spicy.
There was nothing like it.
There was nothing like it.
It was super spicy.
It was super spicy.
There was nothing like it.
There's nothing like it.
In the grocery store, I know because I always look, but I don't know what it was because some dipshit threw on my bottle of it. 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 You know those chocolate red peppers people put on sandwiches.
Sandwiches.
It was kind of like that, but so much more, so much more. If anyone knows what I'm talking about, please tell me, 'cause it's driving me crazy. So this next song was written by Candor and Ebb, and it's from their beautiful musical Scottsboro Boys. Did any of you catch that? Scottsboro Boys, such a beautiful musical. Unfortunately, it didn't run as long on Broadway as it should have. But it tells the story of 9 young African-American men who were falsely accused of raping 2 white women during the Jim Crow era in the South, and they were imprisoned and sentenced to death, and were there for many, many, many years. Some eventually escaped, some died. Some were eventually freed. The youngest was 13 years old. Anyway, this particular moment in the show, the boys are all sitting around in their jail cells thinking about all they want, and all they want is to go back home. Lying all alone, I'm thinking, staring at the stars. I wonder, since I've been away, I'm lonely when I'm gonna go back home. Walking through the world, things happen right before your eyes. Things happen soon enough you're lost. I'm thinking when I'm gonna go back away some years ago, and he left as a legacy a $50,000 prize to be awarded every year to a young composer-lyricist so that they can focus on their craft and not their bills. And this is a song from the show that this young man wrote with that money. I want to share it with you. We met, of all places, in front of Christie's, some freakishly cold winter's day. I had on several unflattering layers of wool. He slipped on the ice with his grocery bags full. So I rescued some Fruit Loops he dropped by the curb, and he made a remark that my smile was superb. And I thought that was sweet, and I started to go, when he said, "Hey, what you doing tomorrow? Because I'll be here at the corner of Bleecker and Mercer tomorrow at 7. If you want to meet up, I'll be waiting right here. And in case there are two fellas waiting for you, my name's John." He waved and then he was gone. Needless to say, I went back there to meet him, mostly to see if he'd show. There he was out in the cold with his jacket pulled tight. He took me to dinner and kissed me goodnight. The next week we went to this terrible play, and the week after that drank hot chocolate all day. And suddenly 8 or 9 months had flown by when he said, "Hey, what you doing the rest of your life? Because I'll be here right beside you as long as you want me to be. There's no question. There is nothing I've wanted so much in my life. This might sound immature, but I'm totally sure you're the one." And we had just begun. We got hitched in September, our favorite month, with a rock band that played in this old synagogue. And we bought an apartment on West 17th Street and talked about children and getting a dog. Our first anniversary came in a flash. We promised to take the day off. He had to stop into his office that morning, and so I went walking uptown to this bakery I know. When I heard on the street what I thought was a joke, till I saw the sirens and noticed the smoke. So I'm running back home with this feeling of dread, to the voicemail he left with the last words he said. "I'm sorry, I don't mean to ruin your evening by bringing up all of this stuff. You're probably wondering why I even called you tonight. Well, today something happened that spooked me alright. I saw this storm cloud of papers fall down from the sky, and I thought of that day, and I started to cry. When sure as I breathe, I heard John clear as day, saying, "Hey, you're allowed to move on. It's okay. Because I'll be here, even if you decide to get rid of my favorite sweater. Even if you go out on my birthday this year, instead of sitting at home, letting all of life's moments pass by. You don't have to cry, because I'll be here when you start going back to the places we went to together. When you take off my ring and you let yourself smile. When you meet someone handsome and patient and true, and he says that he wants to be married to you, and you call him one night and he meets you downtown, and you finally answer him yes. Yes, Jason, I will marry you. I will give you my heart. It has taken so long, but I'm ready to start. Right now, John's whispering congrats in my ear, 'cause I find myself tell you that I will be It's our last song. This is our last. No, it's our second to last. Yes, we have one more.
All right.
It's our second to last song.
Yeah.
Let me just leave you all devastated. Good night. That song, Adam Goin is the name of that composer. Not even 30 years old. Very talented guy, but keep him in your mind. He's great places. So, you know, 9/11 happened, and it's affected the entire world. Everybody personally, maybe you know people who passed away, I know I do. But it also affects us as we start to take stock in our own lives and how precious life is and how quickly it can be over, just like that. So you want to make sure that you don't waste it and that you do the right thing with your life. And when looking for material for my tour, I came across a song that I sang again as a 9-year-old little girl. And it was a song that didn't mean anything to me when I was 9 years old. It was just a pretty melody, and I sang it. And then I grew up, and I had kids, and I experienced loss, and I experienced life and joy. And now all of a sudden, this song has incredible meaning to me. And it's how I'm trying to live my life with my incredible new family. That's how I'm trying to live my life. It was written by Julie Stein, and the lyrics are by the incomparable Comden Green. The sound of applause is delicious. It's a thrill to have the world at your feet. The praise of the crowd is exciting, but I've learned that is not what makes a life complete. There's one thing you can do for the rest of your days that's worth more than applause. The screaming crowds, but who cares? Make someone happy. Make just one someone happy. Make just one heart the heart you sing to. One smile that cheers you. One face that lights when it nears you. Someone you're everything to. Fame, if you win it, comes and goes in a minute. Where's the real stuff in life we cling to? Love is the answer. Someone to love is the answer. Once you found them, build your world around them. Make someone happy. Make just one someone happy. Make just one heart the heart you sing to. One smile that cheers you. One face that lights when it nears you. Someone you're everything to. Fame, if you win it, comes and goes in a minute. we cling to. Love is the answer. Someone to love is the answer. Once you found them, build your world around them. Make someone happy. Make just one someone happy. And you will be happy too. You're so nice. So I want to do one last song. I just want to sing this one last song that I've been singing forever, and I've been singing it for the past, let's see, since 2008 for marriage equality. I've been singing this song. And as we all know, in 2008, Barack Obama was elected, and that was awesome, amazing. And then Prop 8 passed, and what happened there? That was a mess. And now it is no longer. Prop 8 is no longer. DOMA is dead. And there's so much more to come. So much more to come. Equality for everybody. Anyway, what I love about this song is it talks about the fact that in the end, all we have are each other. That's all we've got. And we have to take care of one another, and we have to love each other. We must love each other. It is so important. It is a song that was written by a pit pianist for ragtime, along with Stafford Rudetzky. His name is Steve Marzullo. And he took a poem by the great James Baldwin, who was African American and gay, and had to move to Paris in order to fully be who he was, because he wasn't accepted in his own country. And so it's my battle cry for marriage equality. Thanks, you guys. You've been an awesome audience. You know, go out and get cookies and go snorkel. Some days worry, some days glad, some days more than make you mad. Some days more than shine, when you see what's coming under the line. Some days you say, oh, not me, never. Some days you say, bless God forever. Some days you say, curse God and die. And the day comes when you wrestle with that line. Some days tussle, then some days groan, and some days do. sister, what I'm saying. Nor do no man if he don't be praying. I know that love is the only answer, and the tightrope lover, the only dancer. When the lover come up the road today, and then we told him is how we pray, and not to God's unknown, but to each other. The falling world is a brother. Some days weep, some days grieve, some days you almost don't believe. Some days believe you, some days don't. Some days believe you, and you won't. Some days worry, some days mad, some days more than make you glad. Some days more than shine. Witnesses coming on down the line. Witnesses coming down the line.
Alright. You gonna see Nate at 4:30? You going 4:30 at Nate? No. Hey, how's it going?
Good, how you doing?
I have not a gift, but I've got something for you tonight. So.
All right.
It's actually more for the fans of Rock of Ages, but it's yeah.
I look forward to it.
All right.
See you later.
Did someone forget their phone?
Where?
It was an actual. Oh, I think it was that guy.
Oh, yeah.
I'm glad you're on board.
Oh, thanks so much. Thank you. I'm glad we made it.
And Audra is fabulous.
Isn't she amazing?
And
She
we're
just-
glad
Well, you're amazing.
You're amazing too.
Thank
That's
you.
right. That's right. We're looking forward to the hair.
Oh, it should be fun. I haven't sung that stuff since we closed that show, so we'll see. Is this your phone?
Oh yes, sorry.
Let's go find a bathroom for you, buddy.
And then this is the cast.